Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into the ultimate showdown: electric car versus petrol car. This is a question we get a lot, and for good reason. It seems like everyone's talking about electric cars these days, and with gas prices being what they are, it's no wonder. But are electric cars really all they're cracked up to be? Or are petrol cars still the way to go? That's what we're here to find out. We'll be taking a deep dive into both electric and petrol cars, comparing them in a variety of categories to determine a winner. We're talking environmental impact, cost of ownership, performance, convenience, and even future prospects. By the end of this video, you'll have all the information you need to decide which type of car is right for you. Let's see which one comes out on top. First up, let's talk about the environmental impact. Now, it's no secret that electric cars are generally considered to be better for the environment than petrol cars. After all, they don't produce any tailpipe emissions, which is a major plus for air quality, but it's not quite as simple as that. You see, the environmental impact of an electric car also depends on how the electricity used to charge it is generated. If it's coming from a coal-fired power plant, for example, then the overall impact might not be that different from a petrol car. However, even when you factor in the electricity generation, studies have shown that electric cars still have a lower carbon footprint over their lifespan compared to petrol cars. And as we transition to cleaner sources of energy, that gap is only going to widen. Plus, let's not forget about the environmental impact of extracting and refining oil, which is a whole other can of worms. So in terms of environmental impact, electric cars definitely have the edge. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty, the cost of ownership. When it comes to the initial purchase price, electric cars are generally more expensive than comparable petrol cars. However, there are a lot of government incentives and tax credits available that can help offset that cost. And once you factor in things like fuel savings and lower maintenance costs, the overall cost of ownership can actually be lower for electric cars, especially in the long run. Think about it, no more oil changes, no more spark plugs, no more exhaust systems to worry about. Electric cars have far fewer moving parts than petrol cars, which means there's less that can go wrong. Plus, electricity is generally cheaper than petrol, especially if you can charge your car at home. Of course, this can vary depending on where you live and how much you drive, but in many cases, electric cars can actually save you money over time. All right, let's talk performance. This is where things get really interesting. Petrol cars have traditionally held the crown when it comes to performance, but electric cars are quickly catching up. In fact, some electric cars can now outperform even the fastest petrol cars on the market. One of the things that makes electric cars so quick off the line is their instant torque. With a petrol car, you have to wait for the engine to rev up before you get that burst of power. But with an electric car, it's all there right from the get-go. This makes for a really exhilarating driving experience. Plus, electric cars are incredibly quiet, which adds to the whole futuristic vibe. Now, petrol cars still have their advantages. They tend to have a longer range than electric cars, and you can usually fill them up much faster. But in terms of sheer acceleration and that instant torque, electric cars are hard to beat. Speaking of filling up, let's talk about convenience. This is one area where petrol cars still have a clear advantage. With a petrol car, you can pull into any gas station, fill up your tank in a few minutes and be on your way. With an electric car, it's a bit more complicated. Charging times can vary widely depending on the type of charger you're using and the capacity of your car's battery. And while the charging infrastructure is improving, it's still not as widespread as gas stations. This means you might have to do a bit more planning ahead if you're taking a road trip in an electric car. Of course, you can always charge your car at home overnight, which is actually one of the major conveniences of owning an electric car. No more having to make special trips to the gas station. Just plug it in when you get home and it'll be fully charged and ready to go in the morning. But for those longer trips, the charging infrastructure is definitely something to keep in mind. Finally, let's look ahead to the future. It's pretty clear that the automotive industry is moving towards electrification. Governments around the world are setting ambitious targets for electric car adoption, and automakers are responding with a flood of new electric models. Battery technology is constantly improving, which means longer ranges and faster charging times. And as the charging infrastructure continues to expand, range anxiety will become a thing of the past. So, what does this mean for petrol cars? Well, it's unlikely that they're going to disappear overnight. Petrol cars still have their place, especially in certain applications like heavy-duty trucking and off-roading. But for the average person, it seems like electric cars are the way of the future. They're better for the environment, they can save you money, and they offer a unique and exhilarating driving experience. So, there you have it, the ultimate showdown: electric car versus petrol car. As you can see, there's no easy answer. Both types of cars have their pros and cons. Ultimately, the best choice for you depends on your individual needs and priorities. What do you value more? Environmental friendliness, cost savings, performance, or convenience? Once you know what's most important to you, you can start narrowing down your options. But one thing's for sure, the future of transportation is electric. And with so many great electric cars hitting the market these days, there's never been a better time to make the switch. So, which one do you think is the better choice? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful comparisons. See you next time.